Good morning, cryptocurrency questions, answers, and news, and welcome to the Market Minute on June 30th, 2021. Today in the market, we've got some great things going on. We'll touch on that. Good morning, Curtis, and welcome.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, great day yesterday, and feeling pretty good about the next couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, me as well. So this morning we're going to talk about the bulls were pumping hard yesterday. We've seen some really good green candles. What's that going to mean for the coming days? Also, Mexico bans cryptocurrency after, well, we'll go into that. Uniswap and CoinMarketCap have signaled an integration. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady, crypto from football. Let's see what's going on. So let's talk about this. So we've seen some really good moves in the entire crypto space in the last couple of days. And we've seen a lot of green candles. Ethereum jumped, 10%. Bitcoin's jumped. We're seeing a lot of, and looking at the fear and greed index, it's edging its way up. I think the fear and greed index is sitting around 28. So we're moving out of that deep fear into starting to move in a little bit of optimism from the pessimism. So what's your thoughts? What's going to happen in the coming days since we've seen this big pump upwards?
Well, of course, everybody wishes they had that crystal ball, but what I see happening is, we've talked about the Ethereum upgrade, the upgrade to Ethereum Classic. I haven't moved any of those assets, and usually Bitcoin just completely drives the market, and as Bitcoin goes up quickly, usually there's kind of a lagging effect for everything else. But this time around, it all surged at the same time, which I find to be extremely interesting, which means that the money's not just pouring into Bitcoin and then flowing through the market. This time, it was fairly equally distributed, and you saw Ethereum and Ethereum Classic really take off, which makes me believe that, for this particular period and for the spring in Phase C, it's almost being driven by Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. And we had some discussion about that with the rest of the group. And, I'm not touching those. I do foresee a very short-term correction off of such a big pump from yesterday. But again, it's anybody's guess. And, a lot of this is definitely news driven, which is why we're here and what we talk about every day.
Yeah. Speaking about the news, we're still waiting on, El Salvador is making great moves with their Bitcoin legal currency. And we saw a lot of interesting indication from a lot of South American and near South American countries that indicated that they were interested in what El Salvador had done. Now, that comes, on the heels of that comes Mexico central bank bans cryptocurrency after, a very prominent billionaire, well-connected billionaire tweets on, his views on Bitcoin. So what's your thoughts about that? The central bank flexing their muscle, and we've got the political side that wants to do something different.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see a lot of geopolitical struggles play out internally in these countries, where you have some people that are very pro-crypto, and then you have the kind of the old guard that wants to hold on to the power and make sure that everything stays the way that it is, right? Billionaire, and forgive me if I pronounce his name incorrectly. Spanish and pronunciation of names is not my strong suit, but Ricardo Salinas Pliego, he endorsed Bitcoin on social media. From my understanding, he is the president's kind of top business guy, And but yeah, he loves Bitcoin and was talking about getting into it and offering it and being in the space. And yeah, the central bank put out a statement, and it said this country's financial institutions are not authorized to conduct or offer to the public transactions with virtual assets like Bitcoin. So that's a pretty clear message from the central bank that they are not in agreement with top political and business people in the country. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's interesting. So if the political side of the house versus the financial side of the house, the central bank, have opposing views, um, who actually gets to decide?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting because in the past, you look at history, the politicians have always increased their power and influence through the central banks. And
Hmm.
now it seems that this is shifting because what's happening now is you have power, if the people control the cryptocurrency and the means of value, then all of a sudden you've kind of got both eggs in one basket. You've got people that can vote and people that control self custody of their own assets. So that is tipping the scales to where a lot of these politicians are realizing that it's not only votes now, right?
Yeah,
There's more to it.
absolutely. It was interesting because I had a conversation on one of the forums this morning. I was talking about the Wyckoff and the Wyckoff Spring, and we're moving into that bullish movement again in the market. And he said, well, you got to be really careful because you need to consider what's going on in the politics, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when I look at the politics, it's like, okay, we look at what Wyckoff calls the composite investor, the composite man, the whales, the big money, the smart money, the institutional investors. They have the wherewithal financially to drive the market up and down, buying and selling, creating scarcity and creating abundance of supply. Now, when we're taking a look at the political side of the house, right, they're not in a position to do buying and selling like this, right, because it's not their thing. So I think the biggest influence they have is on uh, getting laws passed, creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and basically creating more, um, you know, more, more fear in
Mm-hmm.
the retail investor. So it's definitely going to be interesting to play out, and it's also how is the composite man, how is the big money going to utilize that in creating corrections? Because we always see that the market moves in the direction that um, these post events. So we get news, we get the FUD, and then the market makes a move. We get good news, the market makes a move. And it's important that the those driving the market align these so that it seems natural. And I think that's a big thing that's important.
Well, I think there's another thing in play too. So, these business people are definitely in bed with the politicians. And
Mhm.
before, when Bitcoin was new and kind of unusual, a lot of these business people were scared of it. Well, now they're kind of embracing it and they're saying, hey, we like crypto too. We want some of that, right? So, now and they're rubbing elbows with the politicians. And then you have cryptocurrency companies that, because the value of cryptocurrency is now recognized, they are lobbying these politicians too. So
Yeah.
you've got a lot of really positive momentum going into the political system for cryptocurrency in general. And so I think you're going to see a lot more politicians kind of swing the pendulum to the other side because people want crypto, business people, especially institutions, and they want to be friendly to those donors, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's definitely going to be a very public stage as this plays out. You know, so and I know the politicians will enjoy that because it gives them greater exposure. So
Absolutely.
I think the regulators won't be so happy about that. But hey, let's see what happens. Moving along, we got a big move this morning. Coin Market Cap, one of the great sites where you can actually do research on tokens, projects, coins. They have great news there as well. Has thrown its hat in to doing an integration with Uniswap so that they have the ability to trade on the Ethereum network. And the big thing I believe driving that is the falling gas fees because of the layer two scaling and the side chains that have been put in place to bring the cost of transactions on the Ethereum network down, the gas fees down dramatically. So,
Mhm.
what's your thoughts about this? Like going to Coin Market Cap now being able to get into a DEX?
I think this is big, and I think it's probably, if not the biggest story of the day, close to it. You know, I find myself going to Coin Market Cap quite a lot, especially when I learn about new projects. And of course, then I go back to, all right, where can I find this particular coin? And when you look at the bottom and you look at the exchanges, every Ethereum based coin is on Uniswap, every single one, unless there's no liquidity for it, which you don't want that anyways, right?
Yeah.
So the convenience, and that's what people go for a lot of the time. Some people pay for convenience. So having the ability to research a coin, go, oh, that looks good, I think I want it, and then click a button and, do your swap. I think it's huge, and I think it's really smart by CoinMarketCap because, in this space, people pay for eyes, and they brought all the eyes to their platform, and now they're probably going to profit off of bringing an exchange to their platform. So I think it's huge, and I think it's good for Uniswap too.
Yeah, I think it's good for Uniswap, and I think it's good for cryptocurrency in general.
Mm-hmm.
As we talked about, the complexity to a new cryptocurrency investor to be able to research a coin and then find out where to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of the, probably even for me, was like one of the most difficult things. It's like, okay, where do I go and find this thing? So, one step closer. It's, perhaps this is going to be a nudge for CoinGecko to do something similar. And
Well, with all the increased regulation, like we've been talking about with the Canadian securities and the
Japan and UK.
SEC, yeah, you're driving people out of these centralized exchanges, and then all of a sudden, Coin Market Cap pops up and says, "Hey, here's an option." So I think we're going to see more, especially more of the experienced people or the mid-level people that haven't quite got into DEXs yet. The fees are coming down, right? And platforms are becoming easier to use, and you are pushing people out of these centralized exchanges. They're going to go somewhere. So it's a good spot.
Yeah, exciting, great news. And speaking of great news, let's talk about football star Tom Brady.
Yeah.
There's a famous guy, and he's throwing his hat into the ring. Him and his wife with FTX. So definitely he's looking into the future, and he wants that future to be crypto because he sees that as big, if not bigger, than his football career. So, what's your thoughts on Tom Brady and FTX partnership?
Yeah. So, both people, Tom Brady and FTX, both kind of rising stars in the crypto world. With Binance kind of struggling a little bit right now in some of these other crypto exchanges, FTX sees a way to make a move. Tom Brady did his laser eyes things kind of at the peak of the market, and I thought that was really cool that he was getting involved. Well, now you've got the oldest player in the NFL that's looking past his career and saying, well, what am I going to do? And you of course, as somebody that has a lot of money and wants to, of course, make more money or become a spokesperson somewhere, you want to look for a high growth opportunity, and crypto is it. So I think this is great. I think he's going to bring a lot of people into the space because, I mean, who doesn't know who Tom Brady is?
Yeah.
And if all of a sudden Tom Brady is, doing little cut commercials for FTX and telling people what he thinks about crypto and being a promoter in the space, he is going to boost adoption probably better than any other celebrity that I've seen in the space, right? Tom Brady is admired by millions of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I think it's exciting. It's an exciting move for Tom to make this play for himself and his career, and it's exciting for the space. It reminds me. I was at a tech conference a few years back on marketing, and Tom Brady was speaking there, and it was Tom Brady Senior. And he says,
Yeah.
you know, he says, I had a young fellow walk up to me like a 12-year-old and say, "Oh, you think you could get me a football signed by your son?" I think there's a good NFT opportunity in play for Tom. Definitely we got some really good things going on in the space. I'm excited about where we're going. I mean, I'm in for the long haul as you are. And as our friends here in Cryptocurrency Questions, Answers, and News, our Facebook group. Speaking of our Facebook group, I wanted to take an opportunity to ask you to invite your friends. We want more like-minded people like yourself to join us here in our Facebook group, and that's how we grow. And when we grow and we bring in people who are knowledgeable, we have more resources available. And Cryptocurrency Questions, Answers, and News is forming a DAO. So that's a decentralized autonomous organization, so that you have an equal voice in driving where we as a group are going. And we've formed ourselves as an independent media outlet. And so that's why we've started doing these Market Minute live. So we have a conversation, and you'll notice the posts that we and other people, I'll call them rising stars in the group, are doing. And I think you had someone you would like to do a shout out to, Curtis?
Yeah, David and David Howe. Yeah, so your crypto, and I just want to point that out. When we have people in the group that, especially to offer, um, you we're here to try to help each other along, and we don't all have time to spend an hour each day studying each little thing that we want to do. The crypto space is a big rabbit hole. So I put some feelers out there the other day to help me kind of navigate something that I didn't have time to navigate, and got some great answers. Yeah, David, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for your participation in the group. And also wanted to ask anybody that's out there, we'd like to kind of have a logo for the group. So if we've got any artists out there that want to flex that muscle and kind of help out, if we like it, we'll pop it up there. We'll put it up and start using it to represent the group.
Yeah, and we'll definitely give you a shout out for your contribution and your skills. So we really appreciate that. And yes, thank you, Dave. And be sure to invite your friends and compatriots into the hold. We definitely are looking to create and we are building a community of like-minded individuals who really want to lift each other up as we go forward. So that's, I think, the Market Minute for today. Any closing words, Curtis?
No, just a little more uplifted than usual. Yesterday was such a cool day, and the future's looking really bright. Of course, we're going to have our ups and downs along the way, but man, what a lot of cool stuff that's happening in the space right now. So I hope more people join us.
Yep. We're still early in the cryptocurrency life cycle, just over a decade in. And even in this market, it looks like this market is going to be extended a bit. So let's see how it plays out. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. And drop us a comment. Let us know what questions you'd like us to answer in upcoming editions. And send us some feedback. Tell us whether how's my driving. It's always good to know. All right, folks. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
All right. Later, Jeff.
Bye for